Welcome to Baby Boomer Tales. My name's Jim. Thank you for riding along today. Today's episode is released on Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving in the USA in 2025. Turkey Day. We're not doing turkey this year. It's just me and Kim. I know that's sad, but we're not going to do turkey. This is only the second time we've had Thanksgiving without family and friends. And what we decided to do is I bought 3 pounds of peeled shrimp so we don't have to peel it. And we're just going to have a big old feast of shrimp. And she'll probably make a salad. I do have a pumpkin pie though. So we're not totally away from tradition. But you know, reading up on Thanksgiving, they may not have had turkey. They probably had something like lobster. They didn't have cranberry sauce. That wasn't invented until about 50 years later. Green bean casserole? I don't know. And I don't think sweet potatoes were introduced into this country by the 1640s or whenever the first Thanksgiving was. Do you know what date that first Thanksgiving was? I didn't write that down, so I don't know. It was sometime in the 1600s. It's fascinating, you know. And it's not with Captain Crunch and the Munchies.
Housekeeping.
Our housekeeping segment today. Last week's episode, when we published it, we wrote episode 256. Now that was about 2 years ago. We do 52 episodes a year. It should have been 356. Once I discovered it, which was by the end of the day of the first day that it was released, I went back and changed it with my podcast provider, and they're pretty darn good. By an hour or so afterwards, most of that stuff was corrected by them. But there's places that, for whatever reason, it can't be corrected by my podcast provider. YouTube was one of them. Now, YouTube Music, it came over with the correct number after I fixed it, but not regular YouTube channel. So I had to get in there and do an edit. X or Twitter, it used to be called Twitter. I didn't even try to fix that because I have to go in and post that myself. A site called Podchaser didn't have it corrected as of yesterday. I didn't look today. But most places did. Apple, Amazon, all that stuff. Spotify, all the big guys, theirs got corrected within an hour of me correcting it through the podcast provider. The other thing I want to talk about is I talked about the Northern Lights. It was 2 or 3 weeks ago now. And I said something about when I faced the north to look for the lights, because everybody was posting pictures on social media of the Northern Lights. And I went out there, the second time I went out there, they were quite bright. But to my northwest is Lawrence, Kansas, and to my northeast is the Kansas City metro area. And I said something like, you can see lights from the city when I look to the north. There's lights. Well, what I meant to say, because it sounded like you were looking at the Las Vegas Strip or something with all those flashing lights. You can just kind of see a little light from that area. It messes with seeing stars in the north for me, but it's not bright lights or anything. You can just tell something is there. And the something is, 150,000 people or whatever in Lawrence, and I don't know how many million, I guess 3 million in the Kansas City metro area. So I'm bound to see some lights, even though it takes, a half hour to get to the suburbs and a half hour to get to Lawrence. But I did get to see the Northern Lights. I looked up and wanted to see how you said thank you in different languages. Now, I know English kind of, American. I did study Spanish, but I know enough to go to a Mexican restaurant, And my heritage is German, and that means nothing to me. But I will try some of these, and I'll try to pronounce them correctly. But the first one, the one that got me going on this anyway, muchas gracias. Gracias is the Spanish term for thank you, or much thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Swedish is tack, or talk, something like that. Italian, grazie. German, danke. Am I saying these right? Hawaiian, mahalo. Filipino is salamat. And Hebrew is toda. Now, please excuse me if I, messed that all up. I'm just trying to say thank you. Our song of the week is Thanks for the Memory by Bob Hope. It was his signature song whenever he had a special or whatever. That song would come along, and he changed the words, changed the lyrics to go with whatever he was talking about. But the original song, written in 1938 by Frank Loesser and Hoagie Carmichael. Hoagie did the music. Hoagie's my cousin. He's, a distant cousin, probably second cousin, twice removed or something. I have no idea. I stumbled upon him years ago doing genealogy, and he is in my bloodline, and he is the only famous person that I know of in my family tree. He did write many songs, won Grammys and Oscars and stuff back in the day, back in the 30s. That is the day, isn't it? Way before I was a twinkle in my daddy's eye, I'll tell you that. This great song was first introduced in the movie The Big Broadcast of 1938. It won an Academy Award for the Best Original Song for that movie. Bob Hope just sang this song whenever he had things like the All-American football team. Do you remember that? He'd bring these college football players out and introduce them. And then on his song at the end of the show, he'd sing Thanks for the Memories. Bob Greasy, Johnny Unitas, Joe Namath, those guys. Thanks for the memory of sentimental verse, nothing in my purse, and chuckles when the preacher said for better or for worse. Thanks for the memories. Our unusual fact: the person mainly responsible for making Thanksgiving an official holiday in the United States is the woman who wrote Mary Had a Little Lamb. Her name was Sarah Josepha Hale, and she petitioned the U.S. government for 17 years to have Thanksgiving become a national holiday. And finally, that petition came across Abraham Lincoln's desk, and in 1863, he made it a national holiday. I already said that Kim and I are just going to have shrimp for Thanksgiving, not a turkey or any of that. I went to the store thinking I could buy a small turkey breast. They had them on sale, and these suckers are as big as some of the turkeys. I just wanted a little smoked breast or something. Finally, I found something that was more than if I bought a whole turkey, and it was kind of a turkey breast roast, it was called. So I went back home and reported to the boss, and we started talking about it and how important is turkey to you, and we just came up with shrimp. That's okay. If the original Pilgrims had lobster, the least Kim and I can do is have shrimp. It's kind of a bittersweet thing. I don't know how to act. Last time we didn't have family with us for Thanksgiving, we went to a Cracker Barrel, and that place was busy. Very, very busy. We had to make reservations online and almost didn't get in there until about 4 in the afternoon, something like that. And I talked about stuff like this before, where even if you're alone on Thanksgiving, give thanks. It's very, very important to remember that no matter what your circumstances in life, be grateful, be thankful, be positive. Because if you're just the opposite of all that, it'll do nothing but bring you down. And you don't want to get into that continuous spiral downward. You want to stay up no matter what. No matter what. But you don't know what I'm going through. We all have gone through things. Life ebbs and flows. There are good times and there are bad. But how you handle it, how you sit in that boat and weather the storm. And yes, you may call upon God, and that's more than okay. But whatever you do, don't bail out of the boat. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Isn't that what they say? Don't give up. Never give up. I have a little cartoon type thing on my office wall, and it shows this big old bird like a stork or a heron or something like that. And he started to swallow this frog, but the frog has his hands wrapped around the stork's throat. So even though he's halfway down the stork, he's not letting go. And that stork's looking like, what the heck am I going to do now? It ain't over till it's over. We all know a fat lady, maybe she'll sing. All I'm trying to say is, even if you're all alone, even if your children never call you, even if your grandchildren don't even acknowledge you, we all go through stuff like that, you know. You've still got a friend. You can still call upon God. You can call upon your memories of loved ones that have gone before. Please have a great Thanksgiving. Even if you're sitting in front of the TV with a TV tray and a frozen Swanson dinner, you're very, very blessed and very, very fortunate compared to a lot of the world. Well, that's about all I have. I'm going to eat shrimp until I probably have to unbutton my pants. 3 pounds of shrimp's a pretty big bag, you know. Yeah, and I'll even eat a salad. I've kind of swore off those suckers. I don't know why, but all of a sudden I was just tired of salad. Anybody get that way? I was just tired of it. And so Kim likes that leaf lettuce, romaine, and whatever, all that fancy stuff. And I used to eat iceberg lettuce, and I didn't like any of that leaf lettuce. And so that was fine, but one day I decided, well, I'm going to try a salad again. So I brought home a head of iceberg lettuce, and Kim fed me a salad, and I said, I don't think I want any more salad after that one. So she informed me the other day that she was going to eat that iceberg lettuce. Don't get her any of that fancy lettuce at the grocery store. She'll eat that. And I felt bad because she's not fond of iceberg lettuce where I used to be. So I got her some of that high-priced, fancy lettuce. Yuck. So I told her yesterday when we were kind of talking about Thanksgiving dinner that I would eat a salad. Just keep that leaf lettuce out of my salad. Give thanks with a grateful heart and always be kind. I'll be back next Wednesday. Happy Thanksgiving. Peace out. The foods consumed at the very first Thanksgiving were probably venison, duck, geese, fish, clams, mussels, oysters, pumpkins, squash, beans, cranberries, plums, grapes, walnuts, chestnuts, and beechnuts. And yes, maybe lobster.